Welcome to Anime Fanfiction Audiobook. Do not forget to like and subscribe. Chapter 11 Bullet Escaped. Giotto knew the crazy man was Bullet, but Sengoku being a nouveau riche? However, Jean Country Great Buddha was indeed golden and looked very rich, so there seemed to be nothing wrong with calling him a nouveau riche. The person who spoke had light green hair and eyes of the same color. Under both his eyes were blue triangular markings, and he wore a frog hat on his head. In addition to his casual way of throwing insults and demeanor, who else could this guy who had appeared here at some unknown time be if not Fran? And his appearance also explained why Borsellino struck thin air for no reason, and Sakazuki felt that Giotto had been dealt with. As expected, these two future admirals, Akainu and Kizaru, had now fallen into the illusion created by Fran. Fran coming here was undoubtedly good news for Giotto. His illusion ability was extremely powerful. From just a moment ago, no one had noticed that he had caused the future Admiral Kizaru to fall into an illusion. It was clear that even someone of their caliber didn't have a chance to resist Fran's illusion. After all, Fran himself had said that even his master, Mukuro Rokudo, would be afraid of his existence. One of the strongest illusionists, it was no joke. Moreover, he had a hell ring on his hand. Fran, can you use illusion to confuse Sengoku? If he could use illusion to confuse Sengoku, then this matter would be much easier to solve. Anyway, Giotto didn't intend to go crazy with Bullet anymore. Admiral Sengoku was here now. If this continued, who knew how much power the Marine would send? Bullet might be a madman, but he wasn't. Say, can't you freeze that nouveau riche directly? Or don't tell me that even boss can't beat the power of money? Fran continued to ridicule him, but after a moment of pause, he became a little serious and said, that nouveau riche's willpower and perception are too much. My illusion technique won't be of much use against him. In any case, it won't go the same way as those two idiots. So, what should we do next? Sigh. Giotto sighed. To be honest, he wanted to leave Bullet behind. However, he hadn't given him the 1 billion belly. Moreover, there was also his debt to Bullet. He couldn't just leave this madman like this. I'll go over there for now. I'll leave this place to you. Remember to come and pick us up later. Say, are you planning to abandon me and run away, boss? Would it kill you to complain less? Giotto was very helpless about Fran's behavior. After all, this guy was constantly ridiculing him. At this moment, Fran looked up and saw that his boss was already coated with dying will flame before flying towards the location of Bullet and Sengoku. He sighed and then looked at Akainu, who had a victorious smile on his face, and Kizaru, who was looking at Giotto's corpse. So, how should I deal with these two guys? From the looks of it, it won't be long before they break free from the illusion. This is so annoying. While he was complaining to himself, Fran walked to the pier where the marine warship that Sengoku boarded docked. In order to pick up his boss, he had to have a boat. Besides, this was the perfect chance to say goodbye to his boss' old boat. Uncle Magma, can you help move the things on the boss ship to that warship? Oh, right, the boss ship is hidden on the sea behind the hill. Uncle Flash, help me change the warship's flag to our family's flag. Thank you. Even the admirals of the headquarters wouldn't give orders to these two monsters. Moreover, moving things and changing the flag was simply humiliating. But now, the two of them had no way to refuse Fran. They didn't know what they were going through in the illusion. In any case, the two of them were obediently moving things and changing the flag. Clank. Huge waves kept rising in the sea. On the warship's deck, Sengoku, who had already turned into a giant gold Buddha, fought back and forth against Bullet. And each time the two of them collided with each other, a devastating aftermath would erupt. In the battle between these two monsters, the warship had become tattered, as if it would sink at any time. Moreover, the collision of these two guys with the color of Supreme King Haki made most of the soldiers on the ship directly faint. That's right. Sengoku was a rare existence in the Marine because he believed in the justice of the world. Damn it. I will throw you into the impel down today. The sea doesn't need a damn bastard like you. Admiral Sengoku directly suppressed Bullet with one palm. However, if he wanted to defeat Bullet in a short period of time, he knew that it was impossible. After all, this madman in front of him was a monster that could fight evenly against Silver's Rayleigh. If you can do it, then try. If you throw me into the impel down, then it means that's my limit. Along with the roar of Bullet, the color of Arm's hockey on his body became denser and denser. Despite losing his ground against the enemy, his strength was still rising. At this time, Giotto had already approached the warship. Looking at the collision between Bullet and Sengoku, he frowned. These two guys were the strongest being in the sea. If this continued, no one knew how long it would take to determine the winner. Bullet, it is time to end this battle. It won't do us any good to keep fighting. Besides, if you are being held back by the likes of Marine, there's no way you can surpass Roger. At this moment, Giotto landed on the warship deck and shouted at Bullet. He knew that Bullet was a pure madman. Ordinary persuasion would not work at all, and the only one who could snap this madman into senses was his former captain, Gold Roger. Don't mention that guy's name to me. Since you want to end it here, I will leave this place to you. Ha ha ha, I will send someone to deliver your 1 billion belly. Consider your favor returned. Suddenly, Bullet punched Sengoku away and then jumped up without hesitation, relying on his powerful jumping force to rush towards the ship he had prepared. But what Bullet did left Giotto's face grim because he knocked Sengoku away into him. And Sengoku also reacted immediately. It is not easy to stop Barrett, but no matter what, he wouldn't leave a single pirate unarrested. Chapter 12: Giotto vs. Sengoku. Bastard. Even if Giotto was a patient guy, he couldn't help but curse at this moment. He didn't expect that Bullet would actually throw Sengoku at him and say that he owed him a favor. If I see you again, I will definitely peel off your skin. But now wasn't the time to think about this. Judging from Sengoku's angry face, it seemed he wouldn't just let him go. Being abandoned by his captain before getting thrown into the impel down. This tragic ending is quite suitable for you pirates. Sengoku's aura had completely locked onto Giotto, and his cold voice came out of his mouth. Sigh. Giotto let out a long sigh. Then his expression became serious as he stared at Sengoku. First of all, that guy is not my captain. Secondly, I am not a pirate now. Although I know it is impossible to ask, I still want to ask anyway, can you let me leave? To be honest, he really didn't want to fight with Sengoku here. Whether he could win or not was another matter. No matter what, you and Bullet attacked the Marine branch together, how can I let you leave like this? Impact wave. At this time, Sengoku directly closed the distance with Saru and then struck Giotto with his palm. The huge impact instantly covered the whole area. Giotto's expression was extremely serious. The dying wolf flame in his body began to burst like crazy, and his Vongola gloves became extremely dark under the effect of color of Arm's hockey. No one would be as crazy as underestimating Sengoku's Buddha palm. Eh? This flame? Sengoku raised his eyebrows. He felt a little familiar with the flame. He seemed to have seen it before, but he didn't remember. But his color of observation hockey could clearly perceive the power that lied in this punch. Dying will armament, airquake. A technique born from the combination of dying will flame and color of Arm's hockey. If Bone Crusher was a technique that directly touched the opponent, Airquake utilized the soft sky flame to distort the space in front of him before throwing its explosive power. For the current Giotto, Airquake was his most powerful attack. In a split second, the dying wolf flame rippled through the space in front of him. It actually pushed away a part of Sengoku's impact wave. At the same time, using his hyper-intuition and color of observation hockey, Giotto determined the weakest part of the impact wave and thrust his fist coated in color of Arm's hockey against Sengoku's Buddha palm. Boom! A huge sound exploded. The massive power of the two collided crazily at this moment. The already damaged warship could not withstand the impact and slowly broke apart. However, Sengoku's attack was not so easy to block. Giotto, who was facing it head-on, almost heard his bones cracking. It should be said that he was worthy of being the strongest admiral in the Marine headquarters. In the next moment, Giotto was sent flying by the shockwave. But this was exactly what he wanted. With the force of the shockwave, he propelled himself with dying will flame in his hands. After making a sharp turn in the air, he immediately rushed towards the warship that had just set sail. At this time, Sengoku suddenly felt his vision blurred for a second. Tried to throw another impact wave aimed in the direction of Giotto. At the same time, Fran, who was standing on another warship, stared at the golden Buddha. The hell ring on his finger was enveloped with indigo flames. It was the mist attribute dying will flame and also the standard for an illusionist. The highest combat power of the headquarters is really powerful, but the next time we meet, things will be different. Admiral Sengoku. Giotto landed on the bow of the warship. His eyes were staring at Sengoku in the distance from the deck. There was a trace of blood on the corner of his mouth, and a low voice slowly came from his mouth. That was close. This time, he was no match for his opponent. Taking Sengoku's attack earlier made him feel very uncomfortable, but this was also a given as he still had a lot of room for growth. Besides, being able to block Sengoku's attack was good enough in itself, wasn't it? Boss, aren't you going to do something? Look at that nouveau riche uncle, he seems to want to eat us alive. Moreover, he should be able to eat our small body in one bite, right? Fran raised his head. He didn't think he had used an illusion, but the frog head on his head seemed to be very lively. The serious atmosphere suddenly became awkward. Although Sengoku wanted to arrest them, he didn't eat people. Moreover, Fran wanted Giotto to do something in this situation? It was already a miracle that they could escape. Let's go back to Second Island. Marine's real target was Bullet. Moreover, the New World was not within their sphere of influence. Their foothold was limited here, and they don't have enough manpower to spare to deal with us. The dying will flames on Giotto's body subsided. After a long sigh, his expression also returned to his usual calm. But after such a big accident, I'm sure they'll issue a bounty on my head even though I am obviously not a pirate. I think it is normal to put a bounty on a mafia, right? Fran retorted almost immediately. Although what he said wasn't a problem at all, it still sounded like an insult. How could the world's top illusionist have such an attitude? But then again, there were only a few illusionists apart from Fran. I hope the Marine can give me a higher reward so that at least not too many people will dare to mess with me. There are still a lot of things we have to do next. Soon, the New World will be in chaos, and that is a problem for us, but it is also a good time for the development of the family. Giotto was very aware of what the sea would become next. The pirates who madly rushed into the New World. Thank you for listening. Do not forget to like and subscribe.